And yet there's something kind of fun about getting drenched. I remember as a little girl, we had a cabin at the lake, and whenever it would rain, we'd go down on the deck, we put on our flippers and our life jackets and our goggles and all the things, and we would do the rain dance, and we would tell the rain to go away. We used to go into the water, not when there was like lightning, we weren't allowed, but if there was a big storm, we would put our life jackets on like diapers. We would like bob in the ocean or in the lake. It was so fun. Good memories. And good memories, as I shared with you coming up on this podcast. The journey of intimacy, the journey of sexuality into sacred sexuality, being in my head into being embodied and experiencing the glory of Eros. Moving through my body, a bliss that I've never known, and I'm just getting started. So I'm hoping it's a inspiring chronological narrative of what's possible when we slow down, get grateful for the challenges, get brave and do the integration, and allow the mystery to still pull us, like what else is possible. When it comes to the safety we get to experience in our skin, the security we get to feel in our bones, and bringing that level of presence and intimacy to another. I didn't get to drink my full Magic Mind. I was out on the porch with Muffin, and I'm like, oh, but it's going to rain soon. I better get out there. So I'm going to drink the rest of it when I get back. But even just a little bit of it makes me feel warm on the inside, and a little bit of energy, and makes me so happy. So I also want you to know that I've asked the company to provide a discount for you if you'd like to join me in this morning. Oh, did you see the fish right there? So fun. Join me in this Magic Mind morning ritual. I believe it's 50% off if you want a subscription, and 20% off if you just want to give it a try, which I encourage you to do. So the code is in the show notes for this podcast. And I'm so grateful for all of the ways that it makes me feel present and energized, and how it got me through that cold I had a couple weeks ago with so much more ease and grace. So enjoy this intimate conversation around sexuality and erotic embodiment. I love you so much.
Welcome to Intimate Conversations, Soul Medicine. Intimacy is an inside job. Welcome to another episode of Intimate Conversations. Here we are, season 11, Soul Medicine. And this month's solo episode, I want to talk intimacy, sacred sex, and erotic embodiment. And I'm so fucking grateful I can share my entire journey with you to where I am today, humbled, grateful beyond measure. So let's start with intimacy. 10 years ago, decided I would call myself an intimacy expert. And I went back and forth because I didn't want everyone to think I was just talking about genital copulation all the time, or I was just like a tantrika or what have you. I wanted it to be like broader, wider, like this umbrella where intimacy included incredible sacred sexuality. But the umbrella was more about how we were being in relationship with ourself, with our bodies, with the divine, with our beloved. And it has to do for me with like, into me, I see intimacy, into me, I see. What do I see first when I go within? Can I be vulnerable with myself? Can I be transparent and honest? Can I feel the feels and stay connected and not judge, fix, or try to change myself? Can I tell the truth? Can I own my shit without self-judgment? Can I sit in the fire? Can I be here? Can I be present? Can I keep my heart open to whatever arises within and stay there? Because if I can do that, I can do that when my body is experiencing different emotions. I can do that when my partner or my child or my client or anyone is having a moment. I don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to fix me. I don't have to fix them. If I don't resist me, I don't resist them. If I can be at home with anything that arises with me, I can be at home with anything that arises in them. And to me, there's no greater gift than our presence, that we can be there for another. And don't we all yearn for that person that sees us, gets us, hears us, and doesn't go anywhere when we lose our shit, or we're not perfect, or we're a fucking dork, or we're like totally successful and amazing and happy and orgasmic. Like, they don't go anywhere. They can just be there with all the flavors of who we are. Intimacy. And so if we bring intimacy into the realm of sacred sexuality and erotic embodiment, I guess when I was really, really little, we all know from my PSI journey, what has been revealed that was suppressed was being molested. So I'll get to that in a minute. But my first memories of being little when it comes to sacred sexuality, I wanted my first boyfriend to be my first. I think we dated like a year and a half, bumping and grinding in the back of his truck, only to find out he cheated on me with someone at school. So just devastated, decided I must not be sexy enough and all the rest of it. Moving forward, ended up losing my virginity in this beautiful way. In Canada, we have these show pilots called the Snowbirds. And I was Miss Kamloops' second princess. And this is like not allowed, but there we are, Allana, breaking the rules again. But I took a liking to one of them, and I lost my virginity with him. And he was so kind and so lovely and so honoring. It was so beautiful that was actually my first time. Kind of that like Top Gun thing, but sort of. And that felt really good to my body. As I grew older, and I decided I didn't want to take over Dad's pharmacy, and I didn't want to be a teacher, traditional teacher like my mom. And I hopped on Uncle Phil's 18-wheeler semi from Canada down to LA to be a dancer, because I'd been a dancer since I was 5. I'm like, that's my ticket. I'm just going to dance on like a cruise line or something till I figure out what the hell I want to do with my life. And I was talented enough, brave enough, but I didn't have the work visa. So that wasn't going to work out. So $40 left, and a credit card to return home to admit failure, go back to college and start working at my dad's pharmacy again. I'm like, fuck that. So I got a job dancing in Tokyo in a show. And it was there that I learned a lot about the divinity of my body, the sacredness of my body. It doesn't really make a lot of sense that there I was being a topless dancer in these different shows. You think that would be like a degrading piece of meat experience. And it was initially, to my mind, my point of view. But thank God the universe put with me these beautiful modern day tantrika, courtesan, whatever you want to call them, goddesses in the form of dancers that I would dance with. And they knew they were a work of art. They knew their body was a divine temple. Granted, some of them were heroin addicts and had various things they would do after our shows were over. When I would go home on my little red ding ding bicycle with the basket and get up early and go teach English and do all the things. Yet they were still incredible teachers for me. They taught me the ancient practice of Tonglen. The Tibetan monks will breathe in the pain and suffering of the world. It will alchemize within them, and they will exhale out love and compassion. So here we were dancing, at the Four Seasons Hotel or these big, beautiful clubs. It was all very glorious and impressive. And not necessarily all the members of the audience were at that vibration, but I would watch them on their side of the stage. They would breathe in these kind of like lecherous looks and etc., but they would breathe them in and they would do something. And then everyone on their side of the stage would straighten up. And as I grew to learn from them, they're like, Allana, your body is a divine temple. Of course. And I would watch them, and instead of resisting my perception of being judged as a piece of meat, I would breathe in this a little bit difficult breathe it through the center of my body, breathe it through my heart, exhale out my eyelashes and my fingernails. And I would just imagine saying inside of my mind and feeling inside of my body, thank you for noticing. I am a goddess. And then all the gentlemen on my side of the stage would straighten up and start bowing to me. So I'm like, okay, I'm on to something here, transforming men's attention. My point of view is in charge here. And it led me to go, okay, there's got to be more about being a woman. There's got to be more about sacred sexuality than I was taught growing up. First husband, met him. He was a tall, dark, and handsome multimillionaire in Tokyo. He was an expat. And when we moved back to New York, I remember being on the airplane home and he's like, are you going to wear that? I'm like, I always wear that. And he's like, well, you can't wear that now. You're my girlfriend or your soon to be fiance. And I kind of shrunk and I realized, like, on the one hand, he thought it was cool. Yeah, but on the other hand, he was somehow ashamed of me, which in hindsight was actually a reflection of my mixed emotions and feelings about myself. On the one hand, I loved myself and I loved what I was up to. But on the other hand, part of me still thought I was doing something wrong. Like, I didn't want anyone to find out that I was a topless dancer. Oh my God, no. Right. So that inner turmoil was holographically projected into my world as we got back to New York. And then we moved out to California. We'd gotten married and the sexuality was not sacred. I remember thinking even my spirituality was weird. And I would, hide in the closet to meditate so he wouldn't find me being weird. But I started to meet other people in LA that were more my spiritual folk. And I'm like, maybe I'm not crazy. And I remember one time watching Kama Sutra, the movie, with him, and the spiritual, sacred, sexual connection is what I ached for. I yearned for. I knew it was possible. And I sobbed and sobbed. And I guess I was just too much to deal with because I think he just left the room. That marriage ended. My second husband, there wasn't a lot of courting or any of that. I was really in more of this, a man and a baby as a plan. My mom was dying of cancer. He was very charismatic, and this'll do. Like I let go of all of my dreams of sacred sexuality and heart connectedness. And my dad was remarried. My sister was getting married. I was a close-hearted, scared woman who did her best. And that too ended in divorce. But something began to happen back around this sacred sexuality thing again. It just never left. And I remember one time, divorced, so having him on my 50% of the time, my son, and the sun came through the window and he was sitting in front of me playing with his toys, side angle, so I could see the light capture his long, long lashes. And he was just the most beautiful, angelic being I'd ever seen. And what happened was my body got turned on. I was enlivened. I was alive. And I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? You're a fucking pedophile. Like, what is going on? Shut it down. Got to figure this out. What the hell is going on? About that time, I was starting to take courses with Access Consciousness. I ended up doing a DVD with Dr. Dane. And I was learning more about sexuality, the energy of sacred sexuality. I'd only ever learned, touch equals sex. Sex is the only way you have intimacy. Like, it's just all that. I had no idea that sacred sexual energy was this plethora of energy. It was this healing, caring, nurturing, I guess we could almost say divine mother energy. That was sacred sexual energy. And I learned that my creative ideas and my generative ideas and, oh my God, let's write a book or do a podcast or take a trip or do whatever, like this aliveness, this turn on to be in my body on the planet and grow and have adventures. That was sacred sexual energy. I also learned that my fierce love, heart open, not heart closed, my fierce love, like, oh, hell no, this is not aligned with my values. This stops now. This is not okay. This is not on my watch. Like, this fierce love, this potent energy was also sacred sexual energy. And then, of course, erotic, wild, naughty, yummy, sensual, bound chicka bound bow, whatever, swinging from the chandeliers, or tie me up, or, hold me in the fetal position as I sob in your arms, like all the incredible, wonderful things that we can experience sexually. clearly sexual energy, but it was like this spectrum. So that's wide. And then this direction, I never had to turn it off. I was learning from them and from many other teachers I began to study with, Satyan Raja and Suzanne, his wife, the warrior sage, Sex, Passion, and Enlightenment, many other courses, David Data, all the things. I was learning that, oh, we can turn this sexual energy up or down, but we never need to turn it off because it's life. It's Eros moving in as and through us. And now, of course, we have wonderful guests like Mark Gaffney, who wrote so many books, but one of which is like The Return to Eros. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. This is good. This is true. This is right. This is sacred. This is what I am. This is in, as, and through me all the time. I can make love with life. I can make love with the universe. I can penetrate my masculine energy, penetrate the world with who I am. I can be penetrated by the divine, and my heart can be open. I can have this energy in, as, and through me. I can co-create with the divine. I was like, okay, I'm onto something. Let's keep healing myself and know that I'm not a pedophile, that my creative life force energy is my joy. It's what inspired me to go, let's not have dinner at the dinner table. Let's have it under the dinner table in a fort with flashlights, eating mac and cheese with our fingers, making a mess, having a good old time. All the fun ideas I came up with as a mom. That was my sacred sexual energy, alive, creative in our life together. It was very, very healing. And when my son was small, I had two main partners who were lovely men, lovely in terms of expressing this sacred sexuality and learning more about Tantra and feeling safe, and them being noble men in my son's life, and them really honoring me and seeing me. And I began to feel beautiful just as I was. And a lot of the competition with other women dissolved away, and more of my divine connection with this energy in, as, and through me began to arise. And not like a party trick I can do on command, but sometimes I would just be dancing in the backyard and have these, not like these clitoral orgasms, but these like full body waves of full body orgasms. There was a whole new world out there that I got to experience and allow without judgment. I began at the time dancing with S Factor, Sheila Kelly. She came on my podcast, and I was like, oh, here we go. And I told her and the world on the internet, yeah, I was a topless dancer. I had not told anybody up until that point. And she loved it. She's like, of course, get your ass into class, because we need to turn your shame into your naughty provocateur. And I've danced for over 10 years, and I still dance with one of the S Factor original teachers who comes to my retreats and works with my clients. And we still dance together once a week. And so I began to go, oh, there's flavors of my sacred sexuality and embodiment. Not all of the erotic creatures will I mention now that you can learn more about from Sheila Kelly, but as I said, my dangerous provocateur, or there's more lighthearted, dorky ones, and there's like more shy ones. There's so many different flavors, and I could give myself permission to let my body lead, trust body, not do the steps like I learned when I was a young girl in ballet class, but let the energy move me. And all the way to, I remember at the end of my custody battle, my God, we'd been at this for like 12 years. And every single post I would make on Facebook or anything, I would do a newsletter. It was like this huge stack. You know, she's awful. She's probably a prostitute. Just horrendous accusations in this very cantankerous custody battle. I remember at the end just saying, you know, fuck this all. I am not going to apologize for my existence anymore. I love who I am. I'm an extraordinary mother. And I happen to be an intimacy expert, helping people to heal their shame about their bodies and their sexuality, to heal the past of messed up relationships, to come into communion with the sacred energy that's moving through them for sex, but also for life, for creativity, for their purpose, for healing, for connection. And so in a bold move, I remember it was Cheetahs. It's this Hollywood like strip club, and they would like have amateur night once a month, and you had to keep your bra on and your little boy shorts. You couldn't wear a G-string, but little boy shorts. And my teachers and my fellow students would dance once a month. And I'm like, I can't do that. I mean, they were at this for about a year. I'm like, I can't do it. You know, it's all just going to end up in court. until one day, it was actually January 15th was the next one. And that's my birthday. I'm like, okay, the universe is just saying enough already. Show up. Really? Are they going to take your child away because you danced at Cheetahs? Like, fuck this. So I remember inviting friends and colleagues and clients, the whole gang, and dancing to 2 songs. One was like Eminem. I can't remember the name of it, but whatever. I owned it. And it was so empowering and so free. And I did enjoy going to the bank with all my $1 bills and just letting them wonder, like, where did I get those from? It was super, super empowering. And I'm so grateful for all of my days with S Factor, because as I began to move more and more into my coaching, now I've got 10 Allana Pratt method processes. One of them is making love with the universe. And a lot of us who have been through sexual abuse, men or women, the idea of feeling safe in our body and then safe with a partner is a big deal. And there's something about beginning to feel safe, just being penetrated by the sunlight, or letting in the beauty of nature into us. This ability to begin having communion with Mother Gaia, with the cosmos. And, trees generally don't talk back. And so you can practice this way of letting go of the armoring, healing the trauma, and coming into communion with life as we then heal even more and come into communion with our beloved. As many of you know, my last, not my current relationship, my last relationship was a very, very big wake-up call for me. It ended in him pleading guilty to criminal assault for domestic violence. It's something that I still share with my clients, that I was ashamed. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody he was hitting me, yelling at me, that I was terrified of all of his guns. I was in such hyper-vigilant level 4 trauma, terrified for my life, and suppressing all of that shame. How could you? And I was just going to fix this. I was just going to fix him, fix us. Everything was going to be fixed, and it was going to be happily ever after. Until, of course, he was arrested, and that was that. I had to go, OMG, like, what the hell? How did I do that? How did I attract that? What is going on? And this needs to heal now. And so thank goodness the universe always provides what's required if we're, willing to do the work. The teacher arrives when the student is ready. And this way of using psychedelic medicine, psychedelic somatic integration, was presented to me. And I went on a 1.5-year journey, over 27 journeys, to integrate my level 4 trauma all the way back to 0. And it was very intense path, very scary path. That is when the memories flooded back of what happened as a child, being molested, and hearing bullshit. You made me do this. You like this. And don't tell anybody. All of these statements that went into my brain, into my body, that would attract abusers to survive over and over and over. Well, I collapsed that program once and for all. And in that process, it was really and it still is, a rewiring of my healthy sexuality. And for a period of time during that journey, my libido just completely went away. All of the being attracted to abuse sexuality, being turned on, having orgasms by being hurt, all of that died. And then there was this pure sort of period of time where there was no libido at all. It's like I was literally being rebirthed, like I was getting to know my vagina again, because I realized my vagina was numb. My hips, groin muscles were numb. I was not in there. And as more sensation came back, there was this like sort of a purity that was arising, and libido didn't come on for quite some time. And as it began to come on, there was a lot of rewiring to do, a lot of letting my body be turned on by safety, having arousal and safety together, a lot of self-pleasuring, a lot of, when it came back online and I could feel my vagina again, a lot of emotions of sorrow, like sobbing for hours, and this yearning of my sacred yoni to be penetrated by noble masculinity. And so many months passed, and my nervous system returned to 0. and my libido began to awaken. And I remember, anything that's not aligned with our highest good will fall away if we're on the path to ascension. And even if you're stubborn, like I am. So I remember going, well, I'll just still stay safe here in Wyoming, and I'll just stay in this little house. And you may have heard or may not have heard of the landlord from hell story that by the end of me standing up for myself, he didn't really like that, and turned off my water, turned off my electricity. And I'm just like, motherfucker. But what was really wild in that moment when that happened, I could tell that my autonomic nervous system no longer got triggered by assholes, by abusers, because I remember going, there's no trigger happening in my body right now. My heart is not racing. I am completely present. And this man will not take my joy. This man cannot take my soul. He can turn off my water, but I've got some water. I'll just camp out in the house tonight. We'll just put a little water in the sink. We're going to be just fine. Turned off my electricity. No problem. I've got candles and I'm going to take myself out for dinner. So I remember like camping, glamping in the house that night with my cat, going, I am not triggered. I got the house completely packed up. I called the thrift store. They took all the stuff. Called my girlfriend. Can I come and stay at your house early? I was going to still move out because who wants to be around this kind of landlord? But I just had to do it a little quicker than I thought. And then I went to the coffee shop in the morning, and my cleaning lady who works there, she gave me a little goodie bag, this awesome cake and sandwich and coffee. And I drove out of town going, I'm not crying. I'm not emotional. I'm completely calm. I'm in my body. I'm not disassociated. I'm right here. Oh my God, I can handle things now. And so not only has this journey to heal sexual abuse led to, that's coming up next, meeting the man of my dreams, it's also allowed me in the face of any trauma, any mishap to literally stay present, to literally stay in alignment, to literally hear my intuition, to literally hear non-local intelligence, to keep my heart open for realsies, not just in safe situations, in crazy situations. So this work, when we integrate our trauma wounds, is going to be a gift to every area of your life, which means you will be an even greater gift to yourself and to others in every area of your life. So I move out to North Carolina to stay at my dear friend's home to just figure out, okay, we've gotten through all of that. What's next? And then I did this curious astrocartography appointment to discover that, actually the Southeast is a golden zone for me. And where I'd been living, shocker, shocker, not so much a golden zone, actually a zone where violent volcanic men will probably meet me. I'm like, you think? So I'm like, okay, got it. And then one of my clients from New York, she was taking on this, I can't remember, 19 men dates or she had this like thing she was doing with her girlfriend, going to go on 19 dates. And she challenged me. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is a great time to date. I don't know where I'm going to live. I just shut down Heartmates. I just shut down my other company. I just finished I hadn't even at that point, he hadn't pleaded guilty yet for criminal assault. So the court case was still going on. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great time to get out there and meet somebody. But as you know, from last month's podcast, if you haven't listened to it, please do. I share the profile that I wrote. It was actually the best time to date because my ego wasn't as in charge, trying to look good, do it right, impress anybody, or be safe anymore. I was the most at home in my heart, in my body, in my soul that I'd ever been. I was my most bravest and transparent. I was probably the most ready to have a true, healthy, intimate relationship with another because I had become the most intimate and home with my body and my soul ever. So my profile was designed to scare off anybody that wasn't my man. And I met my man. And even in the first month or so, I still wouldn't let him in. I still had another layer of PSI integration to do, which I did. And when I did, he was literally energetically there in the journey I went through as more of this program to attract wounded kings fell. And all there was left was being totally home with me and totally home with him. And I had my first in all of my life vaginal orgasm with him. Poor man, I sobbed, snotted all over the poor man. And yet it was so beautiful. And he was so grateful to be able to hold space, be there, and allow me to feel safe to surrender. And as our beautiful journey continues to unfold, what's really wild is I'm so home inside of my body and he's so home inside of him. And we don't need to try to make each other like each other or we don't need to try. There's no trying. We just are. And the slower we go, lovemaking, the more amazing, erotic, incredible energy arises. All of my performative ways and clench here and grind there and do the thing. It's like, just fuck it all and just be present and just allow literally the energy to move in as and through me and the energy to move in as and through him and then to move in as and through each other. What did he say the other day? Your pussy is like velvet glitter or something along these lines. Like the energy. And it's crazy. It's right. The more I surrender, the more this energy arises. And I'm like, you can feel that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. And waves of joy, waves of tears. I don't know what's going to happen next. And he's right there with me. And it's extraordinary. And we're just getting started. And I'm so fucking blessed and safe and seen and feeling so alive. And it's so beautiful to show my clients who have seen me through the ups and the downs. Some have been with me for over a decade, seeing through the custody battle and the craziness of the boyfriend and all the rest of it and the ups and downs of the company. And one thing they know about me is I never give up. And I always tell the truth. And I'm vulnerable and I'm brave and I'm transparent. And the more I learn to forgive myself and never judge myself, the more I can give that safer space for them to reveal what's been unspeakable. And I can receive it with complete grace, non-judgment, and take them through these beautiful journeys that I've been through. I can pay it forward and to watch the community like quantum leap jump as I do a PSI, VIP weekend with one client and another, and they share. It's like this glorious evolution of a beautiful conscious community that we meet privately, we meet in group, we meet at retreats, we meet in VIPs. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I've been drawn to a path of learning about intimacy. I'm definitely here to teach what I'm here to learn. And it's extraordinary to be where I am, so aligned, certainly not perfect, and I'm never going to get there. But to be able to get out of the way and allow this divine energy to flow through me and be able to have the divine energy through me heal and help integrate my clients has been nothing short of breathtaking and exquisite. There have been gentlemen who have had porn addictions, sex addictions, alcohol addictions, any of these wounds that they experienced, curious enough, with their mothers and me as the feminine figure. Maybe it was a mother that passed away. Maybe it was a mother that smothered. But this idea of them healing their mother wounds in the presence of a woman who is healthy, who is conscious, who adores men, who has forgiven men, and who can stay present has been astonishing to watch their liberation and their freedom and their, the more in love than ever in their, 15-year marriage, to be free of those old patterns of those addictive relationships where they were used or using, and to be free, to be honored and noble and to create from this totally new free way of being is so fulfilling. And for the women who might have been in these patterns of attracting abusive men or cheaters or alcoholics or emotionally unavailable or non-committal men, and that these women had created, as had I, like this armor to be safe. Like, yeah, sure, I want a relationship, but not really, right? And so this is who you attract, somebody who says they want a relationship, but not really. To watch them come home into their bodies and heal their autonomic nervous systems and create that sense of secure attachment. So they're no more, anxious or avoidant. They're not doing those behaviors in relationships anymore because there's secure attachment to themselves, to their bodies, to the divine on the inside, and to watch their radiance and their freedom and the higher and higher and higher quality of relationships that they're attracting, again, has been nothing short of breathtaking. I am so grateful to know that whatever the hell I signed up for, whatever the hell you signed up for in your soul's journey, we are provided with the circumstances to learn and the facilitators to walk with us. I have 3 to 4 coaches that I work with still on a regular basis as I coach my 20, 30, 40 shifts from time to time. How many clients come through? More people are coming through. We have a retreat coming up in Costa Rica. More people are coming through for these PSI journeys. My people are finding me someone safe to walk with. And so if this story of intimacy, this new narrative of sacred sexuality and erotic embodiment, if this resonates with you, if this feels like home with you, if this is like, aha, this is my person, these are my people, and I'm having what she's having. Yeah. I've never, ever experienced love like this. I've never, ever experienced home in my body and home with my partner like this. And I've never experienced the ability to support my clients like this. And I am such a blessed woman. So I invite you to contact me. We call them intimacy breakthrough experience calls. And you can find out more at my website, allanapratt.com, how to sign up for that. And there's a special code for Intimate Conversations listeners. So be sure to look in the show notes so that you can receive your scholarship to have that initial call with me. And let's be real. Let's put down our veils. Let's put down our walls. Let's open our heart. Let's talk about what really, really matters. Because to me, yes, we're here to accomplish a lot and achieve a lot and leave our legacies and make a difference on this planet. Abso-fucking-lutely. And as we do this, are we home with ourselves? Are we intimate and listening profoundly to our kids? Are we appreciative and connected and safe to connect with our beloved? And do we have a conscious community where we feel seen and held and challenged and celebrated and home? And that is what I can provide for you. So thank you for the opportunity yet again here on Intimate Conversations, for the honor of loving the shit out of you. All my love. See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life.
I've got one more day after this at this is the porch. We call it the catio because Muffin really likes to be out here, but it's all screened in. And it's super foggy and spooky, kind of getting ready for Halloween out there at the time of this recording. And so I hope you enjoyed that podcast around intimacy, sacred sexuality, erotic embodiment. Because I'm 53, I feel like I'm just getting started. I've worked my ass off and surrendered bravely to do the inner work to be able to receive my man. And just the other evening, we had a campfire and had some Prosecco and peanut butter cups, and we were listening to French music from the movie Amélie, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I started crying. Like something really deep was coming up, and I couldn't quite make sense of it, but I'm learning to let go of needing to understand so much and just dropping into my heart, dropping into my hips, dropping into the feeling. And the best I got is that I have longed for the divine masculine to hold me safe so I can open and unfurl my whole life, but probably lifetimes. And when we went to bed to begin making love, I just let her rip. I just let the tears flow, and he held me. And it was like it got better when I cried looking right at him, holding this gaze, as opposed to shutting it off and being a little embarrassed and trying to get through the tears or just spinning my own stuff. Looking at him, letting myself be seen, letting myself be heard, the snotty crying, and being loved and being accepted and being safe and cherished and being honored and loved, and allowing this wave of emotion to have the freedom to be expressed and received without fixing, all the way down to the end. It was a sob that I think I've waited decades to have. And I'm so grateful. And this is what I believe actually occurs when we do this deep work. Our own inner masculine and feminine energies, and this is true for a woman or a man or any gender, there are these energies inside that come into communion when we resolve our relationship with the divine, we resolve our relationship with the past, and we can literally integrate every challenge into the wisdom it was meant to provide. And we can be that in our bones and in our blood and in our fascia, breath. And we can be that with ourself. At least this is my experience. We can then holographically project that union on the inside into the world. And it's not like we even need to go attract them or find them or get them. It's just like they kind of appear. Well, Scott just appeared. Yes, I showed up. I did my online dating. Yes, he showed up and did his online dating, but we didn't strategize. We should online date. We felt it. This is where he is. This is where she is. And there we were. And then it's done. We're home. It was an inner alignment and resonance, an inner integration that allowed us to come together. Now, we were sitting on the dock yesterday before he left, and we were saying we were letting go of the past and we were inviting in the future. And it was so clear that every lesson, every ex-wife, every ex-husband was required. And we did the work to find each other. We couldn't have met a moment sooner. It literally is divine timing. And there's no sense of loss or too late or wish I could have met you earlier. I would have been a hot mess. He would have not been into me. It's perfect. And so I encourage you, as you complete listening to this podcast and having heard my vulnerable story and seeing where I am today. It was only like a couple months ago that the ex pleaded guilty for criminal assault, domestic violence. Like, that's not that long ago. And when we continue, especially in this 5D world, things happen fast. Things fall away fast. Things arise fast. So let go of what people say, like, oh, like that's so fast. And, just be you. Listen to your truth. Follow your gut. Open your heart. Do the work. Call me if this is the next phase of your integration and ascension. It would be such an honor to walk with you. It is so fulfilling to watch my clients just blossom. And yeah, they're brave. They sit in the fire. They do the work. It's not for wimps. It's for those brave souls that are going all the way. And the results. It's like I'm happy, but I'm not giddy. I'm home. I'm home with me and I'm home with him. And I so desire this for you. So I look forward to seeing you in my inbox. They're called Intimacy Breakthrough Experiences. So register for one. There's a special code for those who listen to intimate conversations who are deeply committed and resonate with this journey. It's such a deep, deep honor to walk with you. Thank you for being with me today. I love you with all my heart.